Hi, part two. Um, Types of propaganda. Henry T. Conserver organises 89 propaganda techniques into 7 different types. Number 1, logical fallacies. Number 2, diversion and evasion. Number 3, appealing to the emotions. Number 4, using falsehoods and trickery. Number 5, playing on human behavioural tendencies, mental capacities and processes. Number 6, speaking or writing styles. Number 7, reason or common sense. Specific techniques. We'll have heard of quite a few of these, but we're going to go through them again. Scholars have identified many standard techniques used in propaganda and persuasion. Ad hominem, a Latin phrase that has come to mean attacking one's opponent as opposed to attacking their arguments. Argumentum ad hominem. Ad nauseum. This uses tireless repetition of an idea especially a simple slogan that is repeated enough times may begin to be taken as the truth. This approach is more effective alongside the propagandist limiting or controlling the media. Agenda setting. Agenda setting means the ability of the news media or whoever else's TV programs, movies, it's in all these agendas, to influence the importance placed on the topics of the public agenda. If a news item, or if they keep repeating it enough in like TV shows and movies and stuff like that as well, not just news, if it's covered frequently and prominently, the audience will regard the issue as more important. Appeal to authority. Appeals to authority cite prominent figures to support a position, idea, argument, or course of action. Appeal to fear. Appeals to fear seek to build support by instilling anxieties and panic in the general population. For example, Joseph Goebbels exploited Theodor Kaufmann's Germany must perish to claim that the Allies sought the extermination of the German people. Excuse me, bit of a cough. Appeal to prejudice. Using loaded or emotive terms to attach value or moral goodness to believing the proposition. So it could work the other way. Using loaded terms to put people off. You know what I mean? Looking into things and that. And to put people to disbelieving. You know? Like the loaded term flat earth. The other loaded terms that have been put out there. You know what I mean? Flatard. And all that sort of stuff. You know what I mean? Yeah, fair enough, these other ones, there's like globetard and globagandist and stuff like that. But it works both ways. Bandwagon. Bandwagon and inevitable victory appeals attempt to persuade the target audience to join in and take the course of action that everyone else is taking. Inevitable victory invites those not already on the bandwagon to join those already on the road to certain victory. Those already or at least partially on the bandwagon are reassured that staying aboard is their best course of action. For example, the debate is over, nearly everyone who matters agrees with me. Like I keep saying, objective reality is not up for debate. This subject, what we're talking about the shape of the earth, is not up for debate. It's a scientific inquiry to get a knowing instead of a belief. Yeah? Well, for me anyway. I'm not part of any group. I'm an individual man. And like I said, I'm not a person. Join the crowd. This technique reinforces people's natural desire to be on the winning side. This technique is used to convince the audience that a program is an expression of an irresistible mass movement and that it is in their best interest to join. A little depiction here, look. Mexico, Rome, holy water, politics under the cloak of religion. Getting what he deserves. American anti-Catholic cartoon from Heroes of the Fiery Cross, 1928. Some propaganda. Beautiful people. The type of propaganda that deals with famous people or depicts attractive, happy people. This suggests if people buy a product or follow a certain ideology, they too will be happy or successful. This is used more in advertising for products instead of political reasons. Usually for advertising rather than political purposes, Sexual arousal may also be used. For example, a message promoting a brand of motorcycle to a male target audience may also include sexually attractive bikini-clad women within the advertisement. To make the product more appealing to the audience by targeting sexual desires. However, some evidence suggests that using sexual appeal to sell a product may not succeed, as the target audience may focus too much on the sexually appealing people in the advertisement rather than the product itself. The big lie. The repeated articulation of a complex of events that justify subsequent action. The descriptions of these events have elements of truth, and the big lie generalizations merge, and eventually supplant the public's accurate perception of the underlying events. After World War I, the German stab-in-the-back explanation of the cause of their defeat became a justification for Nazi remilitarization and revanchism. Revanchism. I'll have to have a look what that word means. I don't know what that word means. Revanchism. Right, I'll have a look at that after. If anyone knows, put it in a comment. Black and white fallacy. Presenting only two choices with the product or idea being propagated as the better choice. Example, you are either with us or you're against us. Or the earth is flat or it's a globe. There could be something in between. I don't know. I don't know the full dimensions. I can hazard a guess from what I've learned so far, but I don't know what the full dimensions are. Cherry-picking fallacy, or selective truth. Richard Crossman, the British Deputy Director of Psychological Warfare Division, PWD, for the Supreme Headquarters Allied Expeditionary Force, SHAEF, during the Second World War, said, "In propaganda, truth pays. It is a complete delusion to think of the brilliant propagandist as being a professional liar. The brilliant propagandist is the man who tells the truth, or that selection of the truth which is requisite for his purpose, and tells it in such a way that the recipient does not think he is receiving any propaganda. The art of propaganda is not telling lies, but rather selecting the truth you require and giving it mixed up with some truths and the audience wants to hear. And some lies as well, mixing truth with lies." Classical conditioning. All vertebrates, including humans, respond to classical conditioning. That is, if A is always present when B is present, and B causes a physical reaction, example disgust or pleasure, then when presented with object A in the absence of B, that same reaction will be experienced. Cognitive dissonance. People desire to be consistent. Suppose a pollster, which is someone that votes basically, yeah. If you vote, you're an idiot, because politics doesn't mean what you think it means. It's bullshit. Finds that a certain group of people hates his candidate for senator or prime minister, whatever, right? But loves actor A. Why would you love an actor? You know what I mean? I don't get it. I've never been that into stuff like that anyway. It's fucking superficial bullshit. They use actor A's endorsement of their candidate to change people's minds because people cannot tolerate inconsistency. They are forced to either dislike the actor or like the candidate. Common man, the plain folks, or common man approach attempts to convince the audience that the propagandist's position reflects the common sense of the people. It is designed to win the confidence of the audience by communicating in the common manner and style of the target audience. Propagandists use ordinary language and mannerisms and clothe their message in face-to-face and audio-visual communications, and attempting to identify their point of view with that of the average individual. A common example of this type of propaganda is a political figure usually running for a placement in a backyard or shop doing daily routine things. This image appeals to the common individual, With the plain folks device, the propagandist can win the confidence of individuals who resent or distrust foreign-sounding intellectual speech, words, or mannerisms. For example, a politician speaking to a southern United States crowd might incorporate words such as y'all and other colloquialisms to create a perception of belonging. Cult of personality. A cult of personality arises when an individual uses mass media to create an idealized and heroic public image, often through unquestioning flattery and praise. The hero personality then advocates the positions that the propagandist desires to promote. For example, modern propagandists hire popular personalities to promote their ideas and/or products. Demonizing the enemy. Making individuals from the opposing nation, from a different ethnic group, or those who support the opposing viewpoint appear to be subhuman. Example, the Vietnam War era term gooks for the National Front for the Liberation of South Vietnam, aka Viet Cong or VC. Soldiers. Worthless or immoral through suggestion or false accusations. Dehumanizing is also a term used synonymously with demonizing. The latter usually serves as an aspect of the former. There we go, and there's another poster, look. World War I poster by Winsor McKay urging Americans to buy Liberty bonds. Demoralization. Propaganda towards an adversary to erode fighting spirit and encourage surrender or defection. Diktat. This technique hopes to simplify the decision-making process by using images and words to tell the audience exactly what actions to take, eliminating any other possible choices. Authority figures can be used to give the order, overlapping it with the appeal to authority technique, but not necessarily the Uncle Sam I want you image. Not necessarily, sorry. The Uncle Sam I want you image is an example of this technique. Or is it the Kitchener or whatever his name were? Your country needs you. Like that during the Second World War. Same thing. Yep. Disinformation. The creation or deletion of information from public records in the purpose of making a false record of an event or the actions of an individual or organisation, including outright forgery of photographs, motion pictures, broadcasts and sound recordings, as well as printed documents. Divide and rule. Divide and rule in politics and sociology is gaining and maintaining power by breaking up larger concentrations of power into pieces that individually have less power than the one implementing the strategy. Door in the face technique is used to increase an individual's latitude of acceptance. For example, if a salesperson wants to sell an item for 100, we'll call it pounds because we're in the UK, pounds, but the public is only willing to pay £50, the sales individual first offers the item at a higher price, example £200, and subsequently reduces the price to £100 to make it seem like a good deal. You see that a lot in shops, don't you? Was £200, now £100, but it was never £200 in the first place. They put the price up. As long as they do it 4 weeks before, they can put the price up, but then they put it back down again, saying, "Oh, look, 50% off. It's now £100, not £200." But it's never been £200 really. They just, you know what I mean? It look like you're getting a good deal, 50% off, but you're not. You're just paying the original price, what it should be anyway. Dysphemism. A dysphemism is an expression with a negative connotation. It is the opposite of a euphemism. Euphemism. A euphemism is a generally innocuous word or expression used in place of one that may be found offensive or suggest something unpleasant. Euphoria. The use of an event that generates euphoria or happiness, or using an appealing event to boost morale. Euphoria can be created by declaring a holiday, making luxury items available, or mounting a military parade with marching bands and patriotic messages. Exaggeration. An exaggeration, or hyperbole, occurs when the most fundamental aspects of a statement are true, but only to a certain degree. It is also seen as stretching the truth, or making something appear more powerful, meaningful, or real than it actually is. Saying that a individual ate 20 spring rolls at a party when they actually ate 7 or 8 would be considered an exaggeration. False accusations. False accusations can be in any of the following contexts: informally in everyday life, quasi-judicially, judicially, fear, uncertainty and doubt, sometimes abbreviated as FUD, an attempt to influence public perception by disseminating negative and dubious/false information designed to undermine the credibility of their beliefs. Not that you should have beliefs. Beliefs are a mind virus to stop you from progressing. Once you have a belief, you stop looking. You stick with that belief. You shouldn't have beliefs. As an adult, you shouldn't be believing. Fire hose of falsehood. A propaganda technique in which a large number of messages are broadcast rapidly, repetitively, and continuously over multiple channels such as news and social media, without regard for truth or consistency. Flag waving. An attempt to justify an action on the grounds that doing so will make one more patriotic or in some way benefit a group, country, or idea. The feeling of patriotism this technique attempts to inspire may not necessarily diminish or entirely omit one's capability for rational examination of the matter in question. Finnish maiden personification of Finnish nationalism. I think that'll be it for this one. I think I'm going to have to do another one after, because it's getting a bit long now, I think. Alright, next one will be coming on to some more of these things here. The next one will be foot in the door technique. We'll be carrying on from there. Okay, thanks for watching. Goodbye.